Breaking the rules in Disney World has never felt so right. Why? Because it just might save your next vacation. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. I know, it's kind of confusing, right? Well now, before you worry about me going over to the dark side of Disney Park Rebellion, fear not. We're not breaking any Disney mandated rules today because we're still all good kids at heart. Instead, we're breaking our own rules. Yep, these are rules that we here at DFB have told you time and again to stick with if you want to have a successful Disney World vacation. Because even the best of rules have their own caveats that might be more in your favor if you decide to break them instead. No, we're not trying to tell you bad advice so we can hog all the best lightning lanes for ourselves. Instead, our goal here is to encourage you to book the more unpopular Tier 2 lightning lane selections before your vacation so that you can have a better chance at snatching up more Tier 1 lightning lane selections on the day of your visit. Lightning lanes can be a little bit confusing, I know, a little bit, when you first hear about them, but at their core, these are basically premium skip-the-ride line services that let you bypass lots of the main ride queues for much shorter queues to help you maximize your time in the parks. If you want to learn about the bare bones of lightning lanes, we'll tell you everything you need to know about multi-pass, single pass, and premium pass in our free lightning lane PDF that you can pick up right now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen or by heading over to disneyfoodblog.com/multipass after this. And if you know nothing about lightning lanes at this moment, I'd recommend going ahead and picking that up because it's going to make the multipass advice I'm about to drop way easier to understand. When it comes to Lightning Lane Multipass, you can book up to 3 lightning lanes ahead of your visit, 7 days out for Disney hotel guests and 3 days out for everyone else. But you can't just book any lightning lanes you want. You have to adhere to the Lightning Lane tier system for every park, besides Animal Kingdom, since Animal Kingdom has way fewer rides to choose from, so it's a free-for-all over there. But for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios, you'll be limited to choosing 1 lightning lane option from Tier 1 rides, and choosing your other 2 options, or all 3 if you want, from the Tier 2. You with me so far? Okay, great. If you're not, again, the Lightning Lane PDF is going to help you out a whole lot. However, once you get inside the park and use your first lightning lane of the day, the tier system disappears and you can book whatever lightning lanes you want to after that. Now, it might seem like the smartest thing to do here is book the most popular rides ahead of time that you can find right off the bat. But lately, our DFB reporters have been selecting what they deem as throwaway options instead. For example, rides that don't really need a lightning lane, so folks don't tend to prioritize them. But why? Why would our reporters do that? Well, if you can choose the earliest throwaway lightning lane for the earliest time that you can get for the day and scan in as soon as possible, then you'll be able to go ahead and book another lightning lane immediately, regardless of tier. Meaning, you can quickly pick up a former Tier 1 lightning lane ASAP as long as they're still available, which they more than likely will be earlier on in the day. Some of our recommended choices for a throwaway lightning lane is Mad Tea Party in Magic Kingdom, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, or Journey into Imagination with Figment in Epcot, or Star Tours in Hollywood Studios. So the whole point of the throwaway lightning lane is to make sure that you get that next Tier 1 lightning lane as soon as possible. Let me explain. So what if instead of purchasing general admission for the parks, you went rogue and chose the after hours tickets instead? I mean, yeah, purchasing park tickets now to avoid purchasing them on site is almost always the best strategy if you don't want to waste a whole lot of time in the mornings at the ticket booths. But what if you just don't book park tickets at all? Or at least you didn't book regular day park tickets and you went strictly with the after hours ticket instead. Disney recently revealed that after hours events would be returning to the parks on select nights throughout 2026. And as you know, I cannot be more hyped. I love after hours events. Some of my favorite park memories have been made by choosing the after hours route instead of the general admission route. And here is why. You get to the parks when the sun sets, meaning it's way less hot out. The ride lines are shorter because the events cap off at a limited number of guests. You get to meet rare characters, which vary depending on when and where you go. And you get complimentary snacks all throughout the night, like Mickey ice cream bars and popcorn and bottled sodas and more. Sure, you could always double up and do a regular day ticket and an after hours ticket to get as much time in the parks as possible, but that can get really expensive. And we're talking more than doubling your park ticket price for the day per person. And it can get really exhausting too, especially if you're planning on waking up and doing a full park day again the very next day. So While there's really no right or wrong answer here, you might want to pick an after-hours event just for the reasons I mentioned before: cooler temps, lower crowds, free food. And just keep in mind that although the rides tend to stay open during these events, the shows typically don't. So if you're less of a rides person, more of a shows person, then an after-hours may not be the right fit for you. That being said, you should be able to get into the parks a little bit earlier with just your after-hours admission for a little pre-party mix-in, which means you could still be in the park early enough to catch 1 or 2 shows before the end of the day, which could include the main nighttime fireworks spectacular as well. Note, this works a little differently for Magic Kingdom's after-hours events versus their holiday parties, like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas parties. While both ticket types can still get you into the parks before the events kick off, holiday parties will close down Magic Kingdom as early as 6 p.m., meaning the castle show, Happily Ever After, will not perform that night. However, in the case of after hours at Magic Kingdom, Happily Ever After will still run since the park will not close any earlier for after hours to take place. Plus, after hours guests will get a bonus castle show, Disney Enchantment, during the event that night. So that's literally 2 nighttime spectaculars in one evening, just for booking the Magic Kingdom after hours event and after hours event alone. Yeah, hi, I know I'm the president of the Unofficial People Mover fan club, and we made shirts for it and everything. You can get them over at dfbstore.com. That's how seriously we take this. But yeah, we're not calling this video Break the Rules for nothing. And in this case, I'm telling you that maybe, just maybe, it's better for you to skip Magic Kingdom. No. Don't panic, all my fellow Unofficial People Mover fan club members. I'm not out here telling everyone they need to skip Magic Kingdom for no reason. I'm just saying that in some cases, your group might just be better off leaving it behind for now. And what might those cases be? Well, for starters, you might have a limited amount of time and other priorities to focus on. If you're going to Disney World for a weekend trip and you're looking to prioritize maybe the latest Epcot festival and say goodbye to Dinoland USA and Animal Kingdom before it's gone for good, then you may not have room for Magic Kingdom this time around, or even Hollywood Studios for that matter. Sure, you can always get park hopper tickets, but those are going to make your tickets bump up in price by at minimum $69 per ticket per day. Not to mention that also means you'll be cutting your time short in those other parks in order to quickly hop on over to the next place, which you might not want to do if you want to spend as much time as you can in those other 2 parks. Or maybe you're going on an adults-only trip and you want to focus on fine dining and high-end restaurants, or thrill rides, or scheduling in some relaxing resort days, and maybe trying out adults-only lounges like the new GO82 lounge at Epcot. Apparently, I'm Epcot's #1 fan today, and usually all the time anyway. So it's okay to skip out on Magic Kingdom if your vacation's bandwidth just can't handle it this time. But if this is your first and possibly only time going to Disney World, or you've got like a week's worth of time that you can spend in the parks, then you do have to make Magic Kingdom a priority. It's kind of the law. I mean, it's not the law, but this is the home of iconic Disney attractions like Cinderella Castle, Haunted Mansion, Enchanted Tiki Room, and of course, the People Mover. In fact, if you're going to Disney with younger kids, you might even want to make Magic Kingdom your only priority and just book tickets to spend 2 or 3 days here to really take your time with it. Just goes to show you that one group's vacation itinerary is going to look vastly different from another group's vacation itinerary. There's no right or wrong answers here, but if you're looking for permission to skip Magic Kingdom just this once, then permission granted. For all of you who are worried about having to go to Disney World during peak seasons, here's me giving you full permission to book a trip anytime that's convenient for you. It is so nice to go to Disney World when the crowds aren't going to be suffocating you the whole time. I'm talking about those times when the New Year's crowds finally let up, or when we're heading into post-spring break right before summer, or best of all, right at the start of back to school season. Not only are these times a lot less people-y out there, but they tend to drop down in price too when the demand is less demanding. But when it comes to busier times of the year, like smack dab in the middle of spring break or summer vacation or on the holidays as you get closer and closer to Christmas, go ahead, book the vacation anyways. Wait, what, really? Yes, really. There's a reason why peak seasons are called peak seasons. They tend to be easier times of the year for families to travel due to school or extended holiday breaks. Not to mention, busier seasons in the parks typically come with their fair share of benefits too. Park hours tend to be longer to help you get as many rides done as possible. More restaurants are open, including the park snack kiosks that have seasonal operating hours. And you're not going to see as many things closed for extended refurbishments, aside from the ones that are undergoing, massive construction right now, like we've seen for Big Thunder Mountain all year long. And don't get me started on the Christmas season. Disney World becomes so magical right then, with lights and glitter and giant holiday trees and gingerbread houses and Snope, so much Snope. And we are very excited for the holidays. So if you are too, then we've created a brand new PDF called the 10 Holiday Must-Dos that you can pick up whenever you're feeling like planning a holly jolly outing to Disney World. Just scan that QR code you see on the screen now if you want to check it out, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/holidaymagic after this. So yes, it's busy then, extremely so, but it's also one of the most wonderful times of the year that might be a bucket list item for you. And if that's the case, you should absolutely go. As long as you set expectations and budget accordingly, it's still going to be a fun time, even if you run into bottleneck pathways more often than you will during other times of the year. Just make sure you're scheduling out your itinerary with the crowds in mind. That means book those lightning lane reservations and advanced dining reservations as soon as you can. And you're also going to want to schedule your hotel room reservations just as soon as you know you'll be heading Disney's direction, since the budget-friendly options tend to book up months in advance. And as I mentioned before, just give your trip some grace. You're not going to be able to see everything, but you should be able to at least manage to see your top priorities, and everything else can be the icing, sprinkles, gravy, and cherries on top. Now, of course, I want you to eat at the best Disney World restaurants if you're paying for them. Why else would the team and I have created thousands of videos, blog posts, and full digital dining guides on dfbstore.com if we didn't care about where you chow down during vacation? We care a lot. We care so much that we even have a major DFB guide to Walt Disney World dining discount you can apply on dfbstore.com before you check out to make sure our YouTube viewers never have to worry about paying rack rate for those books. But we also care about helping you save money on Disney dining in other ways, whenever and however you can, which is why it's totally okay to skip paying for those Disney meals if you want to and instead pack your own little picnic for your upcoming park visit. While it can be a bit stressful trying to budget out your meals for your entire Disney World vacation, Disney is very cool if you decide that you don't want to spend money on food sometimes and pack your own breakfast or lunches or dinners instead. You just have to make sure that the foods you do bring follow Disney's guidelines, meaning no alcoholic beverages, no glass containers, no foods that need to be heated or kept frozen, and no foods that give off too potent a smell. So, what foods can you purchase from your local grocery store or one of the big box stores outside the Disney bubble that'll earn you Disney's green light of approval while also keeping you fed and satisfied? One of the DFB team's favorite snacks to bring to Disney World are Uncrustables. Items like goldfish crackers and little cereal boxes are great for keeping kids happy, especially in ride lines. If you're looking for something more protein dense to help keep your energy up during the day, go for stuff like trail mixes or beef jerky, something like that. And if you're wanting fruit, cutie clementines are a great option that are easy to peel, while Go-Go Squeeze applesauces are even easier to pop open and hand off to your kid or yourself. Applesauce is for everyone. Plus, speaking of applesauce, just go with regular apples too. Now, let's say you don't have time during your vacation to leave the Disney bubble and do some rather mundane grocery shopping. Totally cool. Kroger Delivery is going to do it all for you and have it delivered to your hotel's Bell Services desk. You don't even have to be there when it's delivered. Download the Kroger app onto your phone, use their website to fill your cart with the items you need, and be on the lookout for coupons and savings too. Okay, but for real, don't actually do this. Pool hopping is definitely not allowed in Disney World. So if, for instance, you book a room over at the new Disney Vacation Club Island Tower at Polynesian Village Resort, you can't just hop on the monorail and ride over to the Grand Floridian to swim over at their pools too. When you book a hotel, you're booking your pool access. That being said, there are just a few exceptions to this rule that allow you to do a little rule bending and not necessarily breaking. So if you book a room at one of the Value All-Star resorts, for instance, sports, music, or movies, then you'll have access to all the All-Star pools, not just the one you're staying in. This includes the Fantasia pool and the Duck Pond pool at All-Star Movies, the Calypso pool and the Piano pool over at All-Star Music, and the Surfboard Bay pool, as well as the Grand Slam pool over at All-Star Sports, meaning you'll have access to not just 2 themed pools, but 6. And if you book a room at one of the moderate level Port Orleans hotels, Riverside or French Quarter, you can jump between these pools as well, which is good news for both sides considering you'll only find those quiet pools over at Riverside and you'll only find King Neptune riding on the back of a sea serpent water slide over at French Quarter. Just normal pool things. And no matter if you're staying at the deluxe level yacht club or beach club, everyone who stays at either of those resorts will have access to what I think is the coolest Disney resort pool of them all, Stormalong Bay. And honestly, it's not just my opinion, I'm pretty sure it's objective. This is less of a feature pool, more of a mini water park, and I could spend multiple days here just chilling and living my best vacation life. Stormalong Bay has a lazy river, a sand-bottom zero-depth entry, and a 230-foot-long water slide coming out of a shipwreck. Plus, you'll also be able to visit all the leisure pools regardless of whether you stay at yacht or beach. Dunes Cove and the Tidal Pool are closest to Beach Club, and the Admiral Pool is closest to Yacht Club. So I stand by this rule. If you can avoid paying for essentials at Disney's hotel gift shops like the over-the-counter medications and sunscreen, etc., and you can avoid paying for Disney's branded rain blockers like ponchos and umbrellas, and you can avoid paying each time you need a water refill inside the parks because Dasani water bottles are like $5 per bottle on Disney property, then I highly recommend avoiding those things. Look, you're in the Disney bubble, y'all, and Disney knows that you're going to pay more for something that's convenient, which is why you're going to see prices for these basic everyday necessities are way steeper than what you're used to seeing them priced at back home, which is why you should consider A, packing these items ahead of time, even extras of them, just in case you run out of, say, the first bottle of sunscreen. B, running by the nearest drugstore or grocery store on your hotel check-in day. Or C, having these essentials delivered to you via a grocery delivery app. We always use Kroger delivery, so you don't have to worry about leaving the Disney bubble, but you can still get these items for a cheaper price point. Oh, and then there's option D, which is to find a pharmacy vending machine, like several of the Good Neighbor hotels in the area have, which are stocked with all kinds of last-minute emergency supplies and essentials with prices that might be just a little cheaper than what you're going to find in your Disney gift shop. And that includes ponchos for just $3. So if I stand by that rule, where does the rule breaking happen? Well, listen, those prices might be complete highway robbery, but when all is said and done, convenience is convenience. So if you need a water bottle right this instant because you feel like you're going to pass out, just buy the water bottle. If you accidentally didn't pack enough diapers and you need some before you head over to the parks, then buy them full price from that hotel gift shop. And if it's absolutely pouring out and you don't want the rain to stop you from continuing on your Disney day, then buy the park poncho, man. I know it's smart, especially when you know this stuff's overpriced, but convenience is convenience, and if that overpriced item saves your day, then it might be worth the extra splurge in the first place. Just don't be stubborn about it. I'm speaking to myself here because I really do hate to pay money for something that I know for a fact I can get cheaper elsewhere. Just go ahead and do it if you need it. Also, save some extra cash for emergency extra expenses, like maybe a plush $100 if that, and do what you need to do when your back feels pressed up against the wall. Again, not trying to steer you away from Disney's most popular rides so that we can hog them all for ourselves in the morning. However, I will say that you can get a lot more accomplished during early theme park entry, a Disney Hotel guest benefit that gives you 30-minute head starts for any of the parks on any day of the week, if you skip over the more popular attractions right at the start of the day in exchange for some other really awesome attractions that just might not be on everyone's early morning radar. For example, instead of rushing to Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom right when early theme park entry starts up, which is where everybody goes, you can knock out Na'vi River Journey, Expedition Everest, and Dinosaur while it's still around, one right after the other. Nope, you're not going to be able to ride all these rides during that 30 minutes, but you'll still be able to knock them out very quickly when you start your day with them instead of starting your day with the Flight of Passage line, with 90% of the early entry and rope dropping crowds already in it. So there's a good chance that when you're over at Hollywood Studios, a good portion of those morning crowds will be booking it to Rise of the Resistance and sticking around Galaxy's Edge, which means now is a great time to knock out the rides in Toy Story Land, especially Slinky Dog Dash, which is going to rack up higher waits during the day. And and the attractions at the end of Sunset Boulevard, like Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. Again, while Rock and Roller Coaster is still around and not undergoing its massive Muppets transformation, which is going to be starting in 2026. In Epcot, your big ticket attractions that'll start piling up right at the start of the day are Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and the brand new Test Track 3.0, which means this could be your opportunity to head into the World Showcase and get some of those rides out of the way before the lines start getting too wildly packed, like Frozen Ever After and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, two other top-tier attractions. Or if those two Epcot rides are already racking up big numbers, you can skip them for now and hit up back-to-back rides in the Land Pavilion instead. Soaring around the world first, living with the land immediately after. And in Magic Kingdom, your early theme park entry rides will be a lot more limited, exclusively available in Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, except for Tron Light Cycle Run, which still won't be open until the park officially opens. Though you can get in line for it early. I know, it's confusing. But instead of piling on into Seven Dwarfs Mine Train right away, you can start on the Fantasyland Dark Ride circuit to hit up Peter Pan's Flight, and then The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, It's a Small World, The Barnstormer, and Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid immediately after. Bam, bam, bam. Now, here's my big disclaimer for you. All of the popular rides that I mentioned skipping over in the morning do have some of the shortest lines right when they open up at the start of the day. So if you're wanting to prioritize these, if these are must-do rides for you, then early entry or rope drop still is probably your best bet for them if you're not wanting to pay extra for lightning lanes. However, if your main goal is to get as much done during the day as possible and you're cool with skipping the bigger attractions for now, then going back to wait in line for them later after you've already done all the other stuff you set out to do in the parks that day, then use that early morning time to really hit the ground running and knock out multiple smaller rides instead of just that one big one. Okay, this is a weird one, so just stick with me for a minute. If you're trying to book a really popular Disney World restaurant, like Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom or Ohana at Polynesian Village Resort, then ignore this rule-breaking strategy because you absolutely will need to book those advanced dining reservations as soon as they go live up on the site, starting at 6 a.m. Eastern. But if you're booking other restaurants where maybe the urgency isn't as necessary, like Skipper Canteen in Magic Kingdom or Yak and Yeti in Animal Kingdom, then slow your roll there because you might want to wait to lock in your dining reservation until after you've locked in your lightning lane selections. Think about it this way. When you book a dining reservation, especially for breakfast or lunch, really messes with your lightning lane pre-selections because you're not going to be shown any lightning lane return times that could possibly overlap with your advanced dining reservations. However, if you book your lightning lanes first, and then you book your dining reservations, you can work to layer them better like a puzzle so that you'll still be able to dine when you want to, and also snatch up those prime lightning lane return times as well. Again, this strategy really only works with restaurants that aren't as high in demand in the reservation department. So if you have any doubts about waiting 7 or even 3 days out from your visit before booking an ADR, don't break this rule. Play it safe instead. Okay, when it comes to park hopping, Animal Kingdom is a great park to start out in. Not only does it tend to open earlier than all the other parks, but it also closes earlier. So you can start your morning knocking out all the Animal Kingdom rides and then jump over to one of the other parks that stays open later to still squeeze in a nighttime spectacular before wrapping up your day. Then again, maybe going to Animal Kingdom during the second half of the day is secretly the better route to choose. After all, the morning does get pretty packed, particularly over in Pandora World of Avatar with all those other guests who have the same idea as you. Fly in the back of a Banshee first at Flight of Passage and then cry over the happily ever after fireworks at Magic Kingdom later. However, once the second half of the day rolls around, the Animal Kingdom crowds start to dwindle because everyone else is park hopping. And that means ride lines will start to dwindle too. Not only that, but you can have your cake and still eat it if you want. Since Animal Kingdom closes fairly early, there's always the possibility that you could stay till the end of the Animal Kingdom day and still hop over to one of the other parks to see their fireworks. You'll just have to double check on park hours before you go via the Disney World calendar on their website, just to see if that option might still be a feasible one. Okay, hopefully you're not feeling too guilty about breaking all these Disney World rules because I promise I'm giving you full permission to break them whenever you need to. But if you want to learn about some of Disney's actual rules that you might be breaking without realizing it, go ahead and check out our video called 13 Rules People Keep Breaking in Disney World next. And don't forget to pick up our free Lightning Lanes PDF right now over at disneyfoodblog.com/multipass. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.